Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the tavern. I'm Spencer.
Oh, sorry, and I'm Eli. I was yawning.
And I'm Spencer. And this is episode 29 of Bardic Blunders. Did I just steal Gus's intro from the Rooster Teeth podcast? Yes, I did. It just felt like it felt right, considering they did the last episode recently.
Yeah, that really that and I sent you the video of the founders playing.
Yeah, playing Halo.
The, I would that would and that made me real sad. I was like, oh man, it is really the end of an era.
Yeah, it a rough way to go, but everything has its time. And Rooster Teeth's was long past. But to our main talking point for the episode, well, I should say, is there anything else we want to get out of the way before we spend the next hour and a half talking about this one thing?
Well, other than I posted it in our in your Discord, the controllers and stuff that IGN put out, and that Xbox and X-Men 97 are doing. Those are pretty cool.
Yes, those are very cool. What's up, Cheese? How goes it? You missed an absolutely fire Lethal Company stream earlier.
Eli got hurt during it.
Yes, he did. In real life.
Yeah,
Not in the game. I mean, you got hurt multiple times in the game, but yes, you were in physical pain. Yeah, I guess there was just a couple of things. There's apparently they're making a Knuckles TV show. Oh, you were. Oh man. That's funny. Yeah.
Oh,
school.
something else I did see.
Oh, go ahead.
Halo fans are rioting right now.
Was that?
Because Fallout show was they're like, man, it's like somebody made a decent show based on a video game. It'd be cool if we ever got that.
Yeah, that I could see how Halo fans would be very salty.
Oh yeah, they're very salty right now. The
Um,
only thing that would be more salt in that wound is if they made a what Gears of War TV show,
Oh,
and it was
gosh.
better than the Halo G.
oh man, all of the
Oh,
Halo competitors have good TV shows. Oof, oof.
It would really hurt. That one would be a real kick.
Yeah, that
I mean,
that
you
would
can't
hurt.
really do like a Call of Duty, so I mean, they're safe from that at least.
Yeah, what would you do with a Call of Duty uh Call of Duty show? Sorry, Cheese. Yes. What cards are you sorting? Um But yeah, the only other thing that I could think to touch on is that they're making a TV show for Knuckles from the Sonic
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
That's gonna run adjacent. It's you know, may or may not be interested in it. I enjoy the writing of the Sonic movies. They're fun to watch, but I don't know if they'd be as enjoyable to watch in a TV show format.
And to answer your question on how you'd write a Call of Duty TV show, you'd write it just like Band of Brothers.
I guess that's fair. I just
Ye-
feel like I know Call of Duty's story has improved a lot recently.
Oh, it used to be bad.
Yeah,
Like,
because Call of Duty story writing used to be very bland. It was just like, hey,
yeah.
here's some guys, go shoot them. Yeah,
Um,
that's about it.
I don't remember what game it was. It was the one where you could play as a robot.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Advanced Warfare.
Yes, the story writing in that is apparently amazing. For the campaign, amazing. The game sucked, but the actual like main storyline, amazing.
I have only ever played Black Ops 1. That's the only Call of Duty I've played through to the end.
I mean, I've done Black Ops 2, I've done a lot of the earlier ones.
I've played World at War, but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, World at War, I love that one. The World War One I played through the campaign of, and then the World War Two one I played a lot of that.
I've just never. I mean, I don't like first person shooters all that much, and Call
Yeah.
of Duty is my least favorite first person shooter. So,
Yeah, that's also why you at like MCC a lot, because it's like the older school first person shooters.
right. Well, yeah, I enjoy Halo 1 and 2. Yeah, okay, I'm really bad at
And
Halo 2 multiplayer. I'd say more so Halo 1 and 3 multiplayer over
and Reach.
Infinite and Reach.
But then again, Reach was better than any of. I'm going to say this right now. I will say Reach had the best multiplayer out of any of the Halo games.
I greatly enjoyed Reach's multiplayer.
Um,
But
Halo 5 had the probably the most like learning curve multiplayer.
I
But
know you
once you
said
got
that
good,
one's
you
that one's really good, but
it's
I mean, obviously I've
good.
never played it.
So the best way to phrase it is
Why is
um
why is the topic so angry? I wouldn't say angry.
when 343 tests their multiplayer for Halo, they call in all the like pro players to test it with them because they're like these guys are going to learn it the fastest
Right.
because they have to. Uh and pro players have talked about this that Halo Infinite in the within the first 3 matches, the devs went from like stomping the pro players to getting stomped. Like it wasn't fast. It took under an hour. Halo 5, they said as soon as they had like the beta for multiplayer up and pros were playing it, they were like, we couldn't figure it out. The devs were stomping on us up until way after the game released. That's why Halo 5 professional scene never took off because the devs just smashed them that bad.
Jeez. But yeah, so okay, group. I don't know if aggressive or angry is the right word, but
Disappointed.
yeah. So this topic kind of sprouted off of something somebody pointed out that I noticed. I don't remember where I saw the comment. I know it was a comment. It wasn't like I watched a YouTube video or something like that. Somebody just commented it, and they pointed out. So they said, "Have you guys ever noticed how there's been a shift in media away from the facing insurmountable odds and fighting with everything you have to get better, or face this seemingly unbeatable outcome, uh and has switched to you are exactly perfect the way you are and you don't need to change anything whatsoever, even your flaws are perfect." And I thought about it for a second. I was like, you know what? That's absolutely correct. Because if you look at a lot of modern media, it's written to be like, I'll use a game that released, last year as an example, Forspoken. The main character in Forspoken, starts off The first scene you're introduced to her with, you're in a trial with her. She's terrible. Uh, she's a criminal. She's, you know, snappy and mean and just a completely unlikable character. And she doesn't change at all through the game. She's still just snappy, mean, and a total witch through the whole game. There's no character development. And it's terrible to see. And you see the same thing. I criticized Captain Marvel. I've had people call me sexist because I was like, oh, Captain Marvel sucked. She was just she didn't seem like a hero. She was just an a-hole most of the movie. And everybody's like, well, she has superpowers, so I guess it's okay if she's a terrible person. Like, it has nothing to do with the fact that she's a woman. It's the fact that she's horrible. And there's just been so much other writing from America that I have to specify, from America. Because another thing that I can point out is anime has gotten a lot popular because Japan does not do the same thing. Japan, you watch anime, you read manga, constantly characters are getting put in situations they have no right to get out of. So it's becoming obvious why a lot more people are leaning towards that kind of content. See, group now, yes, there's nothing but criticism for Captain Marvel. When it came out, I at least had heard a lot of people who were defending it, and there was one feminist in particular that I knew who was just like, well, you just didn't like the Captain Marvel movie because she's a woman. And I'm like, I don't care that she's a woman. I don't care if a character is female. I care if a character is written well or not, and Captain Marvel isn't.
I went and saw Captain Marvel with my dad opening night. I think that was the last Marvel movie that we have gone and seen.
The last Marvel movie I've gone and seen was Spider-Man No Way Home.
I still have not seen that one.
I don't hate women. I hated that specific woman. Yeah, exactly. That character was terrible. Because I can give numerous examples of well-written female characters. From movies, from video games, from every... Mulan. Mulan is such a well-written female character.
Yeah.
Just top to bottom, she's great. For the most part, until more recently, Black Widow was a really well-written female character. In the movies specifically. In the comics, I don't really... Okay, I'll admit something. I don't read a ton of comics. I used to read comics more. I haven't read comics in a long time.
Don't worry, the writing has completely collapsed.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
I will actually say probably the last good comic series I read, I can pull up when it was.
But and I guess that's we we had this conversation. Me and Eli had this conversation when we brought up this topic. I was like, this could get us in trouble because it goes a lot into... I can dive into the fact that part of the reason this is the case is because society as a whole has generally trended more towards, oh, hey, be okay with you. You know, whoever you are right now is perfect. And you know what? I absolutely think that people need to love themselves. Like, hey, it doesn't matter, you know, who you are. Mulan barely changes as a person. Yes, but she at least has an admirable goal. And she's not just a horrible person the entire time, even though she's blatantly lying to the military.
Actually, well, she does change, if you think about it.
Well, yes.
Because she has always been the headstrong character who's like, I can solve problems with might. It's the might is right. That's how she viewed everything.
Yeah.
She's gonna brute force her way through everything, and then she goes to the military camp or boot camp basically, and she realized she's not as strong as these guys, and she has to use her brains to outwit them.
Right.
The arrow scene where the arrow's up at the top of the post and nobody can get it, and then she like figures out, hey, I can climb this, but I have to use leverage in this. That's how she overcomes.
And
like,
that's the thing. The point, yes, group, is that she doesn't have to be a man. She doesn't have to change. And that's the kind of irony in the Be a Man song that has also just turned into a song that men love to sing, like, heck yeah, be a man.
The last good comic book series I read came out January 2013.
Nice.
And that was Thor, God of Thunder, Gore the God Butcher.
Ah. See, it's a great song group. I love that. You must be swift as a coursing river, with all the force of a great typhoon. Yeah, the Gore the God Butcher comic's really good. I know I was really disappointed because I found out it was not it was either a canceled comic run or what, but I have a comic issue that is the Defenders. Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, and it sets up for them to work with Deadpool. And I see that in the last page and I'm freaking out. Like, yeah, let's go. This is going to be an awesome story. Found out that it had been canceled years earlier, and or that it was just like a teaser that never took off, so they didn't finish it, you know. I was so disappointed.
Comics.
I was so disappointed.
Group, that movie made me cry for other reasons. But I hated that movie, by the way. That movie, I got so angry and frustrated with that movie.
Still haven't watched it.
Don't.
No, I'm not playing. I'm not watching anything else Marvel. I'm completely done with Marvel. It's
okay. Would you watch the new X-Men that they're putting out?
Probably not, because Marvel movies have just gotten boring to me.
It's not movie though. It's cartoon.
Maybe because
you remember X-Men 97, right?
Yeah.
This is basically them going and finishing the series because it never finished when they aired it.
All right, fair enough. Just wait till the reviews come out. Yeah, see, I've gotten sick of Marvel. I'm so sick of it. It's been oversaturated, and I'm tired of it. My favorite moments, my favorite characters have just been like watered down, and you know, they're not really interesting anymore. I'm also older than I was when Marvel. I mean, crap sakes, when Iron Man came out, I was like 9. When Avengers came out, I was like 13. I'm almost 25 now. Like, I still love all of the nerdy stuff. I'm not trying to say, oh, well, I'm too grown up for that, but you gotta do a little bit more than just, oh, hey, look, it's the superhero. He's on the movie now. Isn't that cool? You gotta do more than that. It's not gimmicky anymore. If I wanted to watch a superhero movie, I could watch 700. You know, there's too many. Jeez, don't say that. Don't say that. Oh, boy. I hate that. Why you gotta say that? Jeez.
I knew it was
Oh,
coming. I
God.
knew it was coming because I had a conversation with Cheese where I was talking about waiting in lines to get video games. And Cheese roasted me for that.
Oh, man.
And I was like, Cheese, you don't understand. Halo 3 came out, it was the biggest thing. And he was like, I wasn't born yet. I was like, oh, oh,
Oh, man. Oh, why did you say that?
oh.
Did I ever end up watching Chronicle? No, I haven't. I haven't yet.
Chronicle, I have been told, is not bad, but you have to go in, like, understanding it's not a normal superhero movie.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I have watched other movies recently, and I've also been trying to catch up. I was watching Soul Eater before I stopped
Okay.
watching anime for a little bit, and I'm like, I need to finish Soul Eater. I need to watch the rest of Soul Eater. I have other anime that I want to watch. But yes, as a matter of fact, I'll write down Chronicle right now.
I'm just, like,
I probably spelled it wrong because I didn't look at the spelling on the screen while I was writing it, but who cares? But anyway, to get a little bit back on our main topic, one of the things that frustrates me about the oh, you're perfect exactly how you are right now. One of the things that frustrates about me is, you know what? A year ago, I looked at myself in a mirror and I'm like, yeah, I think I look pretty good. I think I look good. I lift a decent amount of weight, you know. Okay. A year ago, I wasn't lifting weights because I was on...
in pain.
yeah, my shoulder was destroyed. But I never once looked in the mirror and went, "Oh man, yeah, why do I not have more muscle? Why am I this? Why am I that?" Cuz you know what? I've looked at this face in the mirror for 24 years now. I'm like, yeah, okay. What's the point in me sitting here and tearing myself apart? So I never have issues like that. But now that I've been in the gym and I have lost some weight and I'm building some decent muscle and I'm looking back on myself from a year ago, I'm like, wow, I had like a beer gut because I had built a pretty healthy layer of fat in my stomach, and I'm looking at my old picture thinking, man, I look better than I did then. That feeling is so much better than like that feels great. To look back at where you were before and see where you are now is an incredible feeling. Which, side note, when it comes to fitness, don't compare yourself to people online or people you see in real life, you know, family members, whatever. Don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to your past self. And I know that can get dangerous too, especially when you're older and it's like, you know, oh man, back when I was 25, I was that. But
I'll trade you, Alex.
But yeah, I don't look at the fitness influencer who's been, you know, lifting weights for 10 years and is probably on 6 different kinds of steroids to sell a supplement and go, man, I don't look like that. I'm not as good as him. I look at myself from even just 3 months ago. I'm like, wow, I'm bigger than I was. I'm lifting more than I was. I'm making progress. That's just a side note. But the act of self-improvement and getting better at something is such an incredible feeling. When I look back, something as simple as video games that I play a lot of. I look back when I first started playing Dark Souls, and I think about that. Wow, I sucked at Dark Souls. I was really bad. I just didn't see it. Then I look and see, oh, hey, I did a Soul Level 1 run. And I streamed it, so there's proof. It's not just me throwing out a claim. I actually did it.
I watched some of it.
That feeling is so good. And to turn around and say, no, you don't need to improve. You don't need to improve at all. You're exactly perfect right now. It's you're like robbing people of that feeling. And I don't think that's right. And it also doesn't make for a good story. Let's be honest. To be like, oh, you know what? Yeah, how I am right now is exactly perfect, and I don't need to change one bit. When did I become a motivational speaker?
Actually, this is something I brought up to you yesterday.
Someone that just beats Dark Souls and no more lesser? No. And that's not what I'm saying. When did I stream the Soul Level 1 run? It was like the third series on my channel. At some point last year.
Anyway, what I brought up yesterday was demographics change. So, the best... Okay. I don't like this author's writing. And I'm gonna say his name on here because I don't really care.
Jeez, I started the Soul Level 1 9 months ago. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't like... It's Stephen King. I do not like Stephen King.
Oh, dude, I don't like Stephen King either.
I don't like his writing style because I view it as very, he explained how he writes, and I feel that
it's just weird, dude. Like, have you ever read it?
Yes.
People rave about that book, and I've seen the original movies. I'm not huge on the newer movies. I think they're all right. The first one. I haven't seen the second one. But I think the first of the newer movies was all right. Like, yeah, okay. It's a horror movie, so it's not really my thing. I do like the older ones. I like the original It movies. I read part of the book. Dude, what? It is weird.
So, the only reason why I bring him up is he writes books. He's been writing books forever.
Yeah, since long before we were born.
Yeah. Actually, here's a Stephen King first book.
The newer movies are fun. Yeah, that's what I got from them. I'm not a huge horror fan, so I didn't.
Published in 1974.
74. Yep, I knew it was a while.
So,
I just noticed cheesy message that said I love anabolic steroids.
oh yes. There is a clip where R.R. Martin and King get into almost a heated discussion about how writing works. Because J.R.R. Martin writes like a normal author, if that makes sense.
You mean George R.R. Martin?
Yes.
You kind of combined the two. He combined J.R.R. Tolkien with...
Yeah. So Martin writes like, hey, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to write. And he writes as much as he can, and then like the next day he's like, oh man, I had a great idea. He sits down at the computer and he's like, I can't get anything out. Stephen King looks at it and goes, no, I have to write 6 pages a day. So I will write 6 pages a day.
See, okay, I can understand the mindset of that, but what I would look at it is more, have you ever seen, I believe it was Seinfeld. As weird as that's going to be to say. Jerry Seinfeld talked about the chain. When somebody asked him how he gets work done, how does he stay so motivated, he mentioned the chain, which is basically every single day you get something done. You make your goal, and every day you do something to get closer to that goal. Whether that's, getting up and running a whole mile or just getting up and walking 30 feet. as long as you do something towards the goal, you've kept the chain going. And that motivates you more because you think like, I can't break the chain. I have to keep the chain going. I can't break it.
Yeah.
And if you do break it, you're disappointed, and it makes you want to work harder to keep it from breaking again.
So, Group, I completely agree with that. I can't argue that he's been successful.
Yeah.
But he is the writer to look at because he has been in the industry for so long. His books have completely changed. Have you noticed? Well, I don't know if anybody here reads Stephen King books.
I don't read Stephen
His
King.
books back in the 70s were pitched towards men. Now they're pitched towards women. They're more murder mystery. Where back in the day they were horror. Which tended, in the 70s, tended to be a very masculine thing, you know?
Right.
So he has had to change how he writes to the demographic of people who read. This has become a very big thing. You can go talk to a lot of adults right now. Like, no joke, like, go to work tomorrow and ask 20 people, hey, what was the last book you read? A lot of people will say they have not read anything since high school.
Okay, I can at least say I've read something more recently than that. What it was? Don't ask me that, but
Well, what was it?
I don't remember. That's why I said don't ask me that, because I don't remember.
Actually, you're currently reading a book, so...
I just started. I'm on, like, page 3, because I sit down and read it for a little bit, and then I space out, because I keep trying to read it at the worst. I'm like, I get home from work, I'm like, you know what, I don't have anything else to do, I'll read, and I'll read a little bit, and I'm like, nope, my brain don't work right now. I need to put this away for later when I can actually understand it.
So, it's just... it's basically the idea of... your demographics change. When you write, your demographics change. So, like, if you were to write now, like, write a book, you would have to, like, figure out who your audience is. It's the same thing with TV and movies. It's like, who am I trying to get to watch this movie, watch this TV show, watch this?
It's the same with everything. Like even this YouTube channel. I have to know what my audience wants to watch. If you're advertising a product, you have to know what your audience wants out of the product.
So
your whole life is built around marketing things to other people.
Yeah, but the thing is, who is the majority of readers now? It's not men anymore.
No.
I hate to say it. Men have stopped reading. I have a really interesting story about that group. I will come back to it. Men have stopped reading for newer books that come out. A lot of men reading...
Shut up, Cheese.
Thank you, Cheese. A lot of men have started reading older books, which is really... They find that a very strange demographic. That it's like, why are you reading these old books when we're making new books?
Okay, so do you count listening to an audiobook as reading?
Yes.
Okay, so fairly recently, within the last 3 years then, I listened to part of Bram Stoker's Dracula. I didn't finish all of it, but I at least listened to a little bit of it. No, not in this context. Then yeah, I'm not sure what the last book I read is. Where did I put all my books after I moved? I don't know.
I can actually touch the last book I've read.
I mean, I can touch the book I'm currently reading.
The last book I read was American Gods by Neil Graham, like in paperback.
Okay.
Because the problem is space. Books take up space, but that's another topic. Group, the whole thing about here's 10 classics, I did the same thing. I was like, I'm not going to read any of these. I had my freshman year, so this is 2013. Yes, you can, Alex. 2013, my English teacher, Miss Dutch. Um,
That's fair, group. That's fair.
exactly. Um, my freshman year English teacher,
Don't say
Miss Dutch,
teachers'
was like,
names, by the way. I wouldn't say teachers' names. I know there could be 1,000 teachers with that last name, but
she's also retired, and I'm pretty sure she's not with us anymore
oh,
because she was in her 70s over 10 years ago.
that's fair.
So, um, if she is here, and I doubt she's listening to this.
Oh
let's
yeah,
be
what
fair.
the? Like, were you gonna be like, oh hey?
Hey!
I seriously doubt my high school teachers are even aware that this channel exists.
Our AP World History teacher knows.
Oh, of course. Of course. Good grief. Anyways.
She sat me down and was like, listen, I know you don't want to read any of these, so I picked out a book for you to read. It's not on the list. I just want you to read it. And write down your thoughts on it. And she gave me Catcher in the Rye. Which, as an adult, I look back and go, man, that was a terrible book. But as a kid, it was like, he's a rebel, yeah. So, she really inspired me to do more reading, if that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because she phrased it in a different way. It wasn't, hey, you need to read to do this. It was, hey, you should read to learn more.
Well, see, and that's funny because I've had the exact opposite. Where when I was a little kid, I read all the time.
Oh, same.
To the point I would step off of the bus and my parents would see me just walk off the bus with my face in the book, and they're like, he's going to trip, he's going to walk into something because he's not looking at anything else. He's not peeling his face out of that book. But then as I've gotten older, it's just been like, I don't want to sit down and read. Like, I could do other things. There's other ways of me absorbing information that work better than me sitting and reading. So, and it's not necessarily because, oh, I hate reading. It's just I'm so scatterbrained all the time that sometimes it's hard for me to sit down and just do one thing for a long period of time. So, I want to get back into reading again. It's really it's a good thing to do.
Yeah. So I have it very much the idea of fair group.
That is fair.
I brought this up as well. It's basically like, hey, what do you like to read? Because fantasy has, like, traditional fantasy, like dragons and wizards and all that, has changed a lot.
Yes.
From Tolkien, because he was the one who kind of pioneered that.
Yeah, absolutely. He was the one who pioneered that.
To science fiction that hasn't really changed that much. Because science fiction has always been like, hey, this is based on things that could happen.
Well,
this
yeah,
is based on, like, science.
Oh, see, a book about World War II. That's really cool. Had to read it for Dutch class.
Oh yeah, that's right, group. You're not in America.
Yeah. No, you said that like 1,000 times.
I always forget that.
See, that I totally agree with that, because there's a number of times whenever I was given a book in high school that I probably would have enjoyed if I had organically decided to read it, but since I had to read it for high school, I was like, this sucks, I'm not going to read it.
Slaughterhouse-Five.
Oh gosh.
No one will ever enjoy that book.
There's so many books that it was like, hey, read this book for an assignment, and I was just like, no. I just didn't read it.
Slaughterhouse. I did not like Slaughterhouse 5.
Oh boy.
But it's like science fiction doesn't change much because who pioneered science fiction?
The guy who wrote Star Trek?
No.
I don't know.
Frank Herbert,
That's a cool name.
the man who wrote Dune.
Dune. Okay.
Dune really pioneered science fiction as we know
When did Dune come out?
it. 65.
Wow, that's a lot older than I thought it
63.
was.
63 was when it was originally printed, and then it was published a second time in 65.
Okay. Fair enough. I didn't realize it was that old. Because I knew the original Star Trek started up in the 60s.
Yeah,
So it's definitely part of the first wave of sci-fi.
Yeah.
Also offers a very different sci-fi than Dune does.
So that's a great question, group, because I don't count classics as fitting into any of them because they were written so far behind what we understand now.
Well, and
If that makes sense.
that's a different kind of sci-fi. Typically now when you hear sci-fi, you think space travel and lasers and aliens and, all kinds of different stuff like that. That's typically what sci-fi means now. It's no longer just like, well, Frankenstein's scientifically fictional, so that should fit into sci-fi.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is also considered early sci-fi.
Right.
Like, it's like, so in writing history, there's like precursors, like pre-sci-fi, like we have like in like when you study God, I'm like struggling to get this.
I was gonna say, take a second, man. Breathe. Ready Player One is sci-fi? Yeah. And that's the kind of thing, like, sci-fi is super advanced technologically, is usually what...
It is what it's considered now. Like, if... Dune is... You could technically do everything with Dune now. If you really wanted to.
I don't want to. I've seen that popcorn bucket. They've already gone too far.
So... Do I have a master's in literature? No, I don't.
No. Jeez. This is going to blow your mind. Neither of us have a college degree.
I have a technical honorary degree, but that means nothing anymore.
Right. Well, dude,
And
a master's hardly means anything anymore.
So Herbert and Tolkien hated each other.
Oh,
Did
really?
you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Because Tolkien wrote fantasy. Also, if you talk to literature majors, there is a correct way to write a book. Wait, what?
He said, shut up, you don't sound like a nerd, you sound like a geek.
I technically am a geek, but... the way Tolkien wrote books is technically how they considered the perfect way of writing a book, the correct way. Even though nowadays it's like, no one can physically do that.
Mm-hmm.
But... So they hated each other because, I believe Herbert... I don't know if Herbert fought during World War II, but he lived through World War II.
Didn't Tolkien fight and won?
Yes.
And then George R.R. Martin fought in Vietnam.
Correct. And that's where you get very different views on how things should be written.
Why did all the best writers fight in major wars.
Escapism.
Hey, I killed a bunch of people. Now it's time to write some absolutely bomb fantasy novels. That's funny. Anyways,
I'm trying to figure out what Tolkien did during. Oh, Tolkien definitely capped people.
yeah, he was in the trenches.
Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Oh man.
Um, it,
But another thing I
Whoa, Frank Herbert also
horrors
was
and tragedies make
fought during World War II.
Okay.
He was in the Navy as a Seabee. Seabee is naval engineers. Suffered a head injury and was given
That's
medical
fair.
discharge. I clicked off.
He said all the
Yeah,
classics
absolutely.
that survived. Yeah.
I mean, Shakespeare's considered classic now, and some of them are amazing, some of them are terrible.
I hate Othello with a passion. I could go on a Shakespeare rant. We were forced to do Othello in senior year of high school, and oh my gosh, I constantly had a weapon in my mouth ready to Kurt Cobain myself because of that stupid play. Oh, I hate Othello so much. I love Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
I want to watch or read Hamlet, read, whatever.
King Henry VII, I believe, is also another spectacular one.
Yeah, dude, like, honestly, Shakespeare was such a good writer.
But
I don't know
the
what
thing
he was doing with
Shakespeare-
Othello because it sucked. It was bad.
Shakespeare did something that broke tradition and set him apart and set the pace going forward. Because before Shakespeare really started writing his plays, you have to look at the Greek plays. And that's how everything was written. It's a 3-act play. Everything is a 3-act play.
Right.
Shakespeare wrote his plays, or dramas, whatever you want to call them, in 3 acts, yes, but each act was 3 acts. So you have a beginning, middle, and end to Act 1. You have a beginning, middle, and end to Act 2, and you have a beginning, middle, and end to Act 3.
Right.
From Shakespeare, that's also where you get the writer's journey from. Well, the hero's journey from. Which has...
Romeo and Juliet, totally not bad on the one thing. Okay, jeez. Jeez Louise.
I hope not. If I'm still around, I will fight that tooth and nail. Which I won't be.
What piece of writing or film, whatever made in the last few years, do you think will be considered one of the greats a few hundred years from now?
I read that completely wrong. I'm dumb.
I was confused as to what you were responding to.
I was gonna fight American Gods is definitely one of them.
So oh, that's really tough. Because there's quite a few things from the last few years that I've watched, and I've been like, that's a great movie, or that's fun. I enjoyed that. But I don't think it will be considered great. Like, have you ever seen Nobody?
Hold on.
With the guy who plays Better Call Saul?
I have not seen it, but that's on my watch list.
I have it on DVD.
Oh,
Really, really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was really good. It's a John Wick style movie. So definitely heavily action, but you know, just that's a great movie. But I don't think it can be considered one of the greats, or it'll be looked back on like some incredible art house masterpiece. If I had to throw one out there, it would be The Boy and the Heron. That was the Ghibli movie that just came out last year.
Well, I was gonna say,
Same cheese.
Lordy. Oh, wow. I stretched my legs and my legs immediately hurt. I would say, Red, is it Red Dawn? What is it?
That's a movie from the 80s.
Yeah, I believe that will be regarded as one of the greats. Red Dawn, Hunt for Red October, those
Hunt for
probably
Red
be
October is
considered.
incredible. But he did say within the last few years.
Oh, last few years.
Yeah.
I would really want to see Kings of the Wild, which I believe it's my favorite book, but I don't think it will just because it hasn't really hit mainstream media.
Right.
The Martian, I believe The Martian will be the crux for all sci-fi going forward, like realistic sci-fi.
The Martian was really good. Trying to think.
Oh, that's...
I'm not thinking of a lot of movies from recently. Let's see. Oh, this is Rolling Stone. They're going to have a terrible opinion. It's like 50 best movies of the 2010s. Nope. Rolling Stone, I don't respect their opinion. Okay, see, here, there's a couple of these where it's just like, they put Interstellar at 3. That movie's very pretty. I hated that movie. I can't stand that movie. They put The Wolf of Wall Street at number 4. Mad Max Fury Road at 5.
That's a movie I need to...
Why is Inside Out ranked at 12? Okay. Oh, I can tell you one. I can tell you one that I absolutely think is going to end up. It is a specific genre. It will end up in that genre where it's one of those, oh, if you love these movies, you have to watch this. Hacksaw Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely loved Hacksaw Ridge. And absolutely it will fit into the, the war movie, We Were Soldiers, Enemy at the Gates, all the classic war movies. It will fit into that. But definitely, that is one of my favorite recent movies. I'm also having to recontextualize most of this because I have a very different taste
while trying
than most
to do
people.
these podcasts.
What? Say again?
Okay. You were breaking up. I was trying to remember what it... Oh, Anita Battle Angel, the live action one. I did not enjoy that movie. But I believe it will become a classic.
Is that the movie where they had to downplay the actual achievement to make the movie feel believable? I think so. Because the guy...
Hacksaw Ridge? Yes.
the real guy actually saved, a ridiculous amount of people.
I believe it was 137 soldiers that he
Yes.
saved. Mm-hmm. Americans. Not including the 30 plus of the wounded Japanese he sent over.
Right. Yeah, he was saving people on the other side. This man was insane. Group, it's a really good movie. If you enjoy war movies, I think you'll like it.
He was also a part of one of the Army's experimental
Oh,
units.
gosh, The Martian is almost 10 years old, dude.
I know. I know. I own it. I watch that movie every so often. It's such a good movie.
But I do have to admit, my taste in movies is very different than a lot of other people's. So you can throw some art house masterpiece movie in front of me, and I'm gonna hate it. Like Interstellar, I hated that movie. All these other people are like, "Oh man, Interstellar, one of the best movies of all time, so incredible." I can't stand that movie. I barely stayed awake through it. So I definitely have a very different taste in movies than a lot of other people. Uh,
I think the D&D movie will go over very well.
the D&D movie was absolutely amazing. Although I don't think it's, one of those 10 out of 10 best movies of all time kind
It'll
of
be
thing.
a cult. It'll be a cult classic.
Cult
movie.
classic, yes. If you want a movie, if you want to look at an example of a movie that I enjoy that is not like a comedy or actually has some drama and some incredible story, look up Untouchables. The Untouchables. It's from the 90s, I believe.
Nope. 80s. 87.
Is it the 80s? I
Yeah.
was going to say, I couldn't remember. I knew it was either 80s or 90s. I love The Untouchables. That is such a good movie. And it is in no way, comedic or super action packed, but oh my gosh, that movie had me engrossed from the very
Honestly,
beginning.
another one I just saw was The Irishman.
I haven't seen that one.
The Irishman. That will turn into a classic, but it'll be like the mafia movie classic.
You were thinking that movie
Like-
too? Dude, The Untouchables is so good. It's so good.
I could always throw my dad's favorite movie out there.
What's that?
Mystery Men.
I haven't seen that one.
Okay. A 1999 superhero movie. With Ben Stiller as the lead actor.
I'm sorry. What? Exactly, group. Exactly. And it's oh man. It grabs you with the story, and it doesn't need like some incredible action sequences or an incredible amount of comedy to keep you involved. And this is where a lot of modern writing has changed. Not a lot of modern writing can just grab you with the story alone. And then each and every character is played to perfection. I love that movie. That is such a good movie.
Another thing that you have been harping on like crazy lately, and I find it so funny because I want to use it and actually write it good, is the Mary Sue character.
Oh my gosh. Well, see, because that's the problem. The Mary Sue character is like every main female character now. For some reason, people can't manage to write a competent female character. They just say, oh, let's give a woman a bunch of powers and say, oh, look, I'm strong because I'm a woman. That's the character. Like, it's completely uninteresting. Rey from Star Wars absolutely sucked.
Because I'm working on a project which is just a collaboration of short stories.
Oh, group. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Eli,
Yes.
but the Magneto concentration camp scene, especially with the other line, I don't know if it was in the same movie.
Oh, no, it wasn't. That was from X-Men 3. The camp one was from...
was it First Class?
Yes.
Okay. So it is in a different movie. But that Magneto character through that whole original X-Men series, so great. And I don't remember the exact line, but with the what's up, pizza crust? Something about the it was making a comment about the tattoo on his wrist.
So it was. I can tell you the exact scene because I have that scene memorized.
It's yes, no ink shall ever dye my skin again, or something to that effect.
Yeah. Also, if you want the perfect view of what an anti-hero is, an actual anti-hero, look at Magneto.
Yeah.
Magneto is the perfect anti-hero. He's trying to do the right thing the wrong way.
So can I admit something here?
Yes.
The idea of that Magneto is kind of what I based the main bad guy from my first campaign around.
Yeah, okay.
The guy who is trying to do the right thing in the wrong way. His heart's in the right place, but he's taking the wrong route to get there.
So there's, funny enough, Matt Colville. We should be able to link it somehow, but he did a whole thing on alignment, basically. I think it was his alignment video, he did a video where he talked about the hero, the villain, the anti-hero, and the anti-villain.
Yes.
Or it's like the hero and the anti-villain are on the top of the spectrum, the anti-hero and the villain are at the bottom of the spectrum. The hero does the right thing for the right reason, is the idea. It in a roundabout way, because if you think about it, the anti-hero does the right thing for the wrong reason. The anti-villain does the right...
What makes a good villain?
Yeah, it might be that one. The anti-villain is trying to do the right thing. Can't remember how he phrased it. He phrased it so perfectly. But it's basically like anti-villains and anti-heroes hate each other. Whereas heroes and villains hate each other.
Right.
But a hero can work with an anti-hero, but a hero can also work with an anti-villain. Because Mr. Freeze is the perfect anti-villain. Because he has good reasons to be doing all the evil that he's doing.
Right. That's, yeah,
but
Mr. Freeze is another incredible character. I'll go ahead and
Matt Colville is a writer himself too. He has written a lot of books, and his books are really good.
Did that actually? Okay, there it is.
He is actually how I learned to become a DM. Funny enough.
Same here. I did watch quite a bit of Mercer as well, but
yeah, I was already DMing when I started watching Matt Mercer.
Well, and I think that's the funny difference between you and me as DMs is I watched both Colville and Mercer when I was learning to DM, and you watched mostly Colville. So a lot of your games are based more heavily around Colville, where I'm closer to somewhere in the middle. I don't get nearly as complicated with the politics and all of that. I'm definitely more focused on the adventure aspect. Yeah, I know you do.
I don't know what it is, but I like politics because it puts your heroes in a point where they can't beat their way out of the situation.
Right.
Because you can't just walk up and punch the evil king in the face because you're going to be executed. So you have to figure out ways around that.
Well, and that's where I've been doing some things that way. But it's not been as big as yours has. There are some Deadpool stories that are absolutely heart-wrenching. Oh, yeah, dude. What is it? Was it Secret Wars Deadpool? Where his
Oh, that
daughter
was a
dies?
rough one. Yeah.
Yeah, that. Oh, man.
Another point to bring up where I was talking about like the collection of short stories is basically like if today you like our friend group got sent to a medieval fantasy realm, like our D&D group,
Mm-hmm.
we would probably all die
Yeah.
because we would absolutely be like, nah, we can be adventurers, and then go out and get killed.
Well, I mean, let's just start with the fact that none of us have ever used a medieval weapon before. Like,
I
really
have.
used. We've not trained with anything. But then you look at the fact that okay, I don't want to sound like I'm boasting or anything, but I'm probably the most physically fit out of the group at the moment, with Justin being
Yeah.
the closest comparison. And he's pretty close, definitely. I think he's stronger than me typically, upper body wise at least. But and both of us are leagues away from anyone would be in that time period.
Well,
Anyone that
yeah, but
wasn't
you think
dying
about
of numerous diseases.
so the idea is we would do so terribly and we would like mentally, emotionally, we would be wrecked after the first adventure.
Right.
So
If
I'm
we weren't
like,
dead.
I want to take exactly. I want to take that idea of like, hey, it's somebody who's knows how to fight with a sword, but has never fought with a sword. And basically start running him through the dirt through his entire life.
well,
All
you were
written around once.
While you were chasing after women, I was studying the blade. I haven't gotten to use it yet, but I've studied a lot.
Pretty much, but I have the idea written around one scene from a quote I heard from forever ago, and I was like, I really like that quote. I want to use it somehow in writing, and I like wrote this whole scene with it. I'm like, I'll use that later, and I finally came up with a story to use it in. I'm like, oh, oh, this will be interesting. So my writing streams, I'll probably be working on that with people watching. So you'll get to see how terrible of a writer I am.
Right, group. I don't think you're a terrible writer. Um,
I write better interactive stories than I do regular writing
that's fair.
because I have a hard time separating myself out, you know?
Right.
Because like as a DM I can be like, "Okay, I know this, you guys don't know this."
But that's a lot harder when you're writing a book because you have to
Do
let
it for
the
each and
audience
every
know without
character.
letting the characters know.
Yeah,
If you
and
know what
people
I
hate
mean.
exposition dumps.
Right.
Everyone hates those.
Um but yeah, so something I've noticed with a lot of the modern writing is because of the way that anime is being written, a lot of people have ditched manga and not or other way around. A lot of people have ditched American comics for manga and anime because it's simply just being written better. The characters are more intriguing. There's, actually a story you can get behind. You're rooting for the characters to overcome these insurmountable odds. And I've used this quote as my quote on one of our other podcasts, so I can't use it as my quote tonight. But one of the quotes from a show called Black Clover, which if you haven't seen it, if you watch anime, Black Clover is absolutely awesome. I really love Black Clover. One of the main characters is upset because she's from a royal family, So she's supposed to have stronger magic than most people. But she's not good at controlling her magic. She has a bunch of issues with it. So she's a lot weaker than she's supposed to be, and as a result has been shunned by her family and is working with the MC. Whole long story for that. But at one point, when she's attempting to fight and it's not going over well, she's getting really frustrated and down on herself, and she's upset that she's so weak and she wishes she would be stronger. And one of the other members of the royal family, who's one of the captains of the magic users. Everyone uses magic in the world, just as a preface. So one of the like super strong royal knights, that's one of the top magic users, comes to her and says, being weak is nothing to be ashamed of. Staying weak is. And I love that line. I hate the fact that it's from anime, because I can't bring it up without people being like, well, it's from an anime. Which I think that's a tired argument, and that needs to go away. But that line...
There's been a million versions of that, by the way.
Oh, I'm sure. But I didn't see that coming, because I'm like, oh yeah, it's just another fun action anime. But when he pulled that out, I actually paused the episode. That's a good line. Oh my gosh, that's an awesome line. I love that. That is so good. And it's so that is kind of a phrase that I look to a lot, and is an inspiring phrase that I think more people need to
look to
look towards and take a cue off of, because it goes in with what I was saying earlier. Who you are right now is great. Don't hate yourself just because you're not one thing or another. But you should always be looking to improve. Don't be ashamed of where you are now, but don't stay there if you want to get better. But I should probably quell that, because I could rant about that all day. Because that it's just that really frustrates me. It more so in just it makes for bad writing camp, because it really does. You can have an interesting character that doesn't change. But
that's actually a really good point. Like, characters that don't change over a story are very interesting, because it's like, why aren't they changing?
They're so hard to write, though.
Yeah.
Why did YouTube piss you off, group? Yeah, no, a character like that is very hard to write, because inevitably you're going to toy with, oh, what if I did change them? Or does it make them an uninteresting character because they don't change? Are they not changing for an organic reason, or are they not changing because I don't want them to change? It gets very difficult to keep up with and keep interesting.
Yes, I agree with that. But at the same time, it's like, you can take that character who hasn't changed, and it's like, they will always be like the rock of the group. Like, if it's a group setting, like multiple characters, they are always the rock. Like, everyone leans on that character, because they always have that, like, emotional or mental or physical, like, I can keep going kind of view. Funny enough, Kings of the Wild has multiple characters like that. Which is interesting because as you read and learn more about them, it's like, oh man, these guys are just old men trying to do the right thing. And they're very set in their ways, and they're very grumpy old men, is the best way to put it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Quite a lot of characters that don't change are just old people who don't want to change. It's like, well, I've been this way for a long time. Why would I change?
Funny enough, in one of the episodes I did before I kind of just stopped because I was exhausted and trying to do them while working a lot wasn't helping. But the art of writing, where I talk about your main character, your setting needs to reset. Not reset. Your setting needs to mirror your main character's internal struggles if you want good writing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the whole thing of if you can overcome the inside, you can overcome the outside, or the vice versa. It's like, man, you're struggling with depression. A main character struggles with depression, but the main character then does something huge, like saves the world. It's like, if I can save the world, yeah, I might be struggling with depression, but I can take steps.
Right.
I didn't save the world all at once. It took me many steps to get there. So it's like the mirror, the yin and yang of that. Like, a step here, 2 steps there, you might fall back a couple steps. But that's okay as long as it keeps pushing forward.
As said in the brilliant words of Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming,
just keep swimming.
Swim.
Yeah. I'm exhausted and I want to go to sleep.
All right, fair enough.
I got my quote.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry if I'm cutting you short on this podcast, but
No, you're
I've
fine.
been up since 2 a.m.
Yeah, I got you, man.
I'm already at 18 hours. My phone's freaking out. From Oscar Wilde. They promised that dreams can come true, but forgot to mention that nightmares are dreams too.
That's a good one. So, I didn't have one ready, as always. Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that one like 2 days ago and saved it.
Group's quote from you. It's just you screaming.
Because of the Bracken, yes. Oh man, I normally take a nap today. I did not get a nap today.
Yeah, you need to go to bed.
Yeah.
So I'll take one from Yu Yu Hakusho.
What's that?
Nothing worse than being strong, but not strong enough. Said by the main villain of the series.
To me, it was just another Tuesday.
That's my next quote. Don't say it.
I'm going to steal that quote from you.
I'm going to punch you in the nuts. But, all right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Whether you watch just this stream, just the Lethal Company stream, appreciate it. I'll
Like
be
and
back
subscribe for
tomorrow. Stop! I'm gonna. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll try and have Pokemon set up for tomorrow, but I don't know if I will.
I'm gonna also try and stream tomorrow. I don't know what time it is because I have to go fill out paperwork tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be streaming at 12, like always. Put my sub link in chat. Whatever.
Check out Sir Crumpets on Patreon for all your gaming accessories and more.
I'm gonna throw a stool through your window right as you start to fall asleep.
Go ahead, man. I'll sleep through it at this point.
Oh my gosh. All right. Yep. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night. Catch you tomorrow. Tally ho.
Tally-o.